Alrighty guys, well this is what we're working on here right now. Y'all remember from previous videos, this little mini skid, this sk800 TX mini skid, and y'all remember working on it in the past when I done all the other work to it. And the problem we had here now is that front idler over there was bad. I know that I done took it apart here, and I should show y'all what I did. But there's a nut on here. You just turn that nut there to make this little slide piece here start coming back. And if you tighten like that there, when you tighten it up, and when you're tightening it up, it'll start bringing this back. And when you go to loosen this one, it'll push the track back out. So like I say, you just got to take it off. But just remember, there is, right here, there's some bolts on this side here. I didn't have to unloosen these, but I did have to unloosen these. These are kind of like a lock. And I would assume that this side here would be the same. But what it does is it grabs that and pinches this together. And it makes it to where here's the nuts right here. And what it does is it's like another lock to keep that from, going anywhere. But I'm going to clean all that stuff there out. But I do got the old roller over here. As you can see, the bearings here. The bearing in there is plumb shot. So we wound up getting some new ones. And these things wasn't cheap. They was around $500 a piece is what these things here cost. But I wound up buying 2 of them. It says Taiwan on it. So it ain't, don't see how it's... it's for mirrors. Kind of like Bandit. What they do is they get this shit, and then what they do is they just put their sticker on there. That's all they do. Ain't nothing anymore. Anytime I see anything, it's nothing. Nothing's ever made here in America. Nothing's. It's always made overseas, and they mark the hell out of their price. They probably bought them things for. They probably bought a bunch of them, so they probably got them a better deal. But ain't no way I think she cost no $500 for that little bitty piece of steel right there. So, anyways, there's a row pin that goes in on both sides. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take a torch and I'm going to cut this off flush here. And then I'm going to take my torch and I'm going to blow this hole here out. Because you still got to keep these little blocks. But the pin in there is so froze up in there, the Carter key, that you can't get it out. And it's just rusted shut. So when I torch that out, that centerpiece out there, I'll be able to take and I'll be able to just knock it straight out and then knock the little Carter keys out, or knock the row pins out. Which I got new row pins, ain't nothing, no big deal. Anyways, what I do is I usually just put my block of wood like I do on my ditch witch. Put the block of wood there, and then take the bucket and I tilt the bucket out like that, and it picks it up enough. It looks like to me it's bled off some, so they won't be that bad. When I go back, go to put track on, I'll pick it right back up. So enough of me rambling on. I'll go ahead and I'll show y'all exactly what I do on this as far as how to cut this out of here. Alright guys, after you get them all cleaned up, they should spin just like this right here on that shaft, and you should be able to pick it up and move it. That's why I like it. That's why I like to grind all that rust off of there. This side here is the same exact way. Like I said, to get it up in there, and as long as you can move it back and forth like this here, you'll be just fine. I'll try to take and get the roll pin set up in here. I did get 2 of them. They're right here. I'll get 2 roll pins set up and set right here. I'll go ahead and start getting them tapped in here. This one's set right here about where it needs to be at. It should be about right in there. You can look through here. You can kind of see. As long as it's about flush with this right here, this is where it's got to be at. Just like that right there. And then get it about like that. And when I got take my punch here that I have, kind of work it the rest of the way in. Don't need to go in a whole lot, just a little bit. little bit more. Almost. Just a little bit more, and we should have him. Get you over here where y'all can see. And just make sure it gets enough in there to where it goes around to the other side there. Yeah, just make sure it goes enough over to where it gets to this other side, and that way there you know that you got it in there where it needs to go. And then just make sure you get this one here when you put it on there, that both of these here are on the same exact side. Because you don't want a long one and then a short one. So put this one knocked on there somewhere. Last one I had it went right in there, no problem. This one right here is trying to be a little bit of a pain. But once you get it started in there, you'll be just fine. Got like this. Got this one in there. Kind of get it in here about where it needs to go at. That way there it can just fall right down there. So I'll get this pin here put on there and that'll be it. Alrighty guys, I got the new one on there, and like I said, just make sure that you put the long one, the long piece, it'll go towards the back is the way that it goes, because it keeps it from rubbing in there. And like I said, I could tell that somebody had already put one of these on there before, and just because of the way that it had rubbed back into the back of that piece there. And I went ahead and cleaned it all out, and I'm gonna go ahead and throw just a little grease down inside here, or some some of this here to kind of like make it slide a whole lot easier, because all it does is them pieces, they'll sit back here on this and it'll just ride on these slides in here, the way that the frame's all made up inside there. So I like to just grease the hell out of it, because it ain't gonna grease. It don't want to get greased any other time. And I done sprayed all the grease and oil in this. Got it all lubed up here, and like I said, all I do is just beat the roll pins in there to where they make it through both sides, and that just holds it in there. It just, the pin can't come out anyways. Even if them roll pins wasn't in there, the pin couldn't come out even if it wanted to, because there's nothing on the sides here. It would just, it's pretty much, I really don't know why they have the roll pin. I guess that just keeps it from spinning inside this. It's the only thing I'm thinking about, and don't waller this out, and it spins on the bearing. That's kind of really the only reason that they would have this pin in there. So enough of me talking about this. We're gonna sit you guys right up here if I can. Still ain't got me a magnet. Still ain't got a magnet. As you can see here, the Ford truck, it's in the shop now. I'm gonna try to get the ball joints out of it. Slid up in here, same way it was when I took it out. Make sure these are exactly the same, and like I said, it should slide right up in there. Might be a little bit tighter because everything is new. There it goes. Like I said, that's why I try to grease it all the best I can, because I know that it's kind of a pain to get in there sometimes. It's just because of the way that it goes up in there. And just like I said, as long as you make sure it goes all the way back and gets flush with the other pin that's in there, in which it's not, so we'll get a hammer and we'll tap it on in there. When you go to put the track back on there, you want to make sure you've got it as far back in there as it'll go and slide. That's why I was telling you guys about putting a lot of oil and grease and stuff in here, because that's what I'm trying to tell you, it will make it a hell of a lot easier to go back in there. You ain't got to go hitting it hard or nothing, just tap on it a little bit. And that'll be in there far enough. It's even with this piece in the back. And then it's starting to push the spring back. So now I know that it's in there exactly how it needs to go. Fix it right there because I already know. Well, let me go and get them bolts in there. I can do that. Wrench, it's already right here. Okay. Like I said, these already got oil on these already. But like I said, they just screw right down inside there. I'll get these tightened up. Ain't a bad little job here. It's just it is if it's a muddy ass mess. I went ahead and bought an extra one, but the other side over there, it's not wore out, so we'll just keep that one on the shelf. As far as everything else seems to be good. And don't tighten these up all the way just yet. Make sure you leave them a little bit loose, because like I said, that's what pulls this together in here. But what don't make no sense to me is that it's supposed to pull these in here. On this side here it does. It's like this one right here. It's like this one here, it pulls it, but in all honesty guys, I don't see how it does, because this is welded here and it's welded down there. So I don't really understand how. I don't know if it's just something they do before they weld them, you know, to make sure they're right in place. I don't know. I ain't worked on too many of these idlers on these ditch witches. Hell, I've worked on all of them. This Vermeer here, it's the first I've had to change one of these on this one. I'm still gonna leave it loose, and then once I get it how I want it, then I'll be just fine. But other than that, the machine's been doing really good for them. They ain't had no problem since I've done what I did. Besides, they had the fuel filter. They had to wind up changing that again on here. But other than that, they said everything's been doing pretty decent for them. So that's always a good thing. I'm gonna go ahead and get these started too. Just want to go ahead and get them started, just so when I do put them back together, I know all the bolts are going to be lined up. I don't have to get the track on there, and if it got something got out of whack, I don't think it can, but you just never know. See, just like this one right here is not wanting to go in there. Okay, I think I got it, maybe. There we go, yeah. Got her started now. And I did buy another truck at the auction, guys. Hopefully y'all check this thing out when it comes in. pretty badass truck. It's a L8000. It's a L8000. It's got a set of log bunks on it, but it's also got a it's four-wheel drive. So first one of these L8000 four-wheel drives I've seen. It's got the Merriman Heritage or something like that axles in there. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. I've seen them in the past. That's what some of this other stuff that I've seen that has. It's got them same kind of axles in there. So kind of looking forward to that. It's only got 33,000 miles on it. It does got a big plow on the front and a big plow off to the side. So in all the pictures I've seen, I got a bunch of pictures of it, and it didn't really look like it was that rusty, really. I mean, the cab mounts and stuff like that are all good and solid. It was painted red, and then somebody painted it white. So I don't know if that was, I don't know if that had something to do with, I just don't know if that had something to do with, you know, the company that bought it. They just wanted it white because the rest of their equipment's white. The only thing they ever did with it was when they bought it, they got a big parking lot up there in New York, and they take that big parking lot and they keep the snow pushed out of the way. They ain't got no salt spreader or nothing like that on there, so that's kind of a thing. I'm hoping it's not too terribly bad. I'm gonna try to get it fixed up and maybe drive it for a little bit and sell it to maybe a logger around here because it's got log bunks on the back. So we'll just have to see how things go with that. Okay, that's good and tight there. Now set that over there. We'll set you guys over here. Get worked on the back here. Might have to let it down just a little bit. Get some of that slack out of it. Guys, so I got it up on the front idler up there now. Now we're going to go ahead and start tightening this here up. And to tighten this one up here, you'll go down with it. It's totally the opposite way. So instead of tightening it, to get it tight, you loosen. You would do it if you was going to loosen it. To tighten it up, you tighten it to loosen it. So it's just kind of backwards. Let me go ahead and get it all tightened up here, and once I get it tightened up, keep y'all from having to sit here and hear me tighten this up because it's going to take a minute. But I'll get it all tightened back up, and then once I get it tightened up, I'll show you what it looks like. Okay guys, that's all you got to do there. Just tighten these here up. The top one on this side here will be kind of difficult to get it, but you can lay on the ground there, put your wrench in there, and it'll go all the way around like that, and you can tighten it on up. Same way as the bottom one. And don't forget, once you get done, there's a keeper that goes on here that keeps that nut from moving back and forth. These side covers, they was gone when we bought it. So other than that there, track tension here, it's good, exactly where it needs to be at. Every time I put these things in the shop, I always mess the gravel up. Maybe one of these days I might tight ass will get some concrete. And just check this out here while you're at it. It's about the same exact tension. If you don't take and if you don't know exactly how much tension and you want to put it back exactly where you had it, just make you a mark right here where this line is, because this is going to have to go, you know, this is what's moving back and forth as far as how your track, you know, get your tension in there. And just if you want to, you can just make a little line right there, and then once you run it back, you can run it all the way here to know you'll get it pretty much close if you can't get it exactly just the way that you want it. But other than that there, that's all. Like I said, ain't a very long video. Just a quick little video here on showing you how to put a new idler on the front of that, and if you got to take and cut it out, which that's what I did on this. And here you can see the bearing here is toast. The wheel here itself is still good. Well, I thought about seeing if I could just get this piece here, but they usually won't sell it to you. But I mean, it's plumb gone there. It don't take them very long. Like I said, it's got a seal in there, maybe. Yeah. So we'll get all that mess there cleaned up. And like I was telling you about the truck here, it is we're gonna try to get the tires and wheels off of it in the next couple of days, and I'm gonna try to start cutting the ball joints out of it, and try to get it all completely redone, and hopefully get this truck where it's up and driving really good for him in the next couple of weeks or so, hopefully anyways. But he wants me to, like I said, do a full off body restoration on this thing. He wants to repaint the whole entire damn truck, but I ain't got time for that stuff right now. The rear end, it does got 410s in the back and 354s in the front. I could have swore that this front axle was 350, was a 410, but I told him he would be better off to go with the 354. So we're going to leave the front axle in there just the way it is. I'm not going to reset the gears up in that. I'm just going to switch his rear end out for a rear end that I had that has 410s. I mean, has 354s, which I do got one. So nothing too much to worry about on that there. But other than that there, this is what, you know, what kind of projects we got going on. My Power Stroke, the one that I put the radiator in there, remember I showed y'all a video on that. Didn't get hardly no views on that, so I guess people didn't want to see that shit. So anyways, so when the radiator went out of it, I just went ahead and just put one in there. I didn't even make a video on it, but it had a hairline crack right along the top here that I thought that I had seen one, but it never did leak on me. So I had to go down there to Napa, and I got a same exact radiator from Napa. I think it wasn't cheap. It was like $280. So if you got to get a radiator for a 96 Power Stroke, you know, the one at Napa works really, really good. So with that being said, thanks again, guys, for watching my videos. And like I said, don't forget to like my stuff and subscribe if you thought this was something neat and you learned something. Thanks.